Hey everybody, here I am again to talk about the second Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire team up, the 1946 film musical Blue Skies, which also stars actress Joan Caulfield. Now, in this movie, Fred Astaire plays Jed Potter, a dancer as part of a group that includes Mary O'Hara, as played by Joan Caulfield. Now, he tries to get her to join a new show in New York with him instead of going on the road with the one they were doing. She refuses until he takes her out to a nightclub owned by his friend Johnny Adams, as played by Bing Crosby, with whom she immediately falls in love. While he likes her, he doesn't quite share her interest in marriage, particularly as he has a habit of buying and selling his nightclubs when he tires of them. Now, after a while, they do get married, with him promising to stop buying and selling new nightclubs, although it doesn't stop, even after they have a child together. Meanwhile, Jed loves her from afar, although she never fully returns his affection. Now, this is the fifth of 6 movies that Fred Astaire did with composer Irving Berlin, and the second of 3, at least that I know of, that Bing Crosby did with the composer. He sang White Christmas in all 3 of them, although here's only part of it is a part of a montage. Now, the music in this movie is a combination of older music, some new, and some songs that were given updated lyrics. Now, there are 2 songs that I feel like discussing here. I would say that the song Puttin' on the Ritz is the big highlight of the movie. It's sung and danced by Fred Astaire. This song was originally written back in the early 30s, but Irving Berlin gave it some updated lyrics specifically for this movie. Now, at the time this movie was made, Fred had announced that he was going to retire after this movie, particularly after a string of less than stellar box office results for some of his previous movies. But of course, he ended up coming back a couple years later for the Easter parade. So this song was intended to be his final dance. At least I think it was the last one filmed anyways. Now with this one, he did do some tricks with his cane, mainly with it flying up to his hand from the floor. The main point, however, that everybody remembers about this is that the chorus at the end of the dance. All the dancers are Fred. Now in this, we get to see just how exacting he was in his movements and how well rehearsed, because for the one section of the dance with the chorus there, he did it 3 times with different choreography for each, although the chorus dancers more or less had the same choreography with like one small moment that they didn't, but still very, very impressive to see just how exact and precise he was with his movement. Another song worth mentioning here is the song Heat Wave. Now, this song wasn't exactly written for this movie, but Fred dances to it with the actress Olga San Juan. What is worth mentioning here is that Fred Astaire himself was a composer. Now, while the majority of the song is Irving Berlin's, apparently, according to IMDb and Wikipedia, Fred did contribute some additional music to it. And to the best of my knowledge, this is the only instance in which any of Fred's movies in which any of his music was used. I don't know what part of the music was his, but either way, it is a fun song, and definitely we're seeing Fred's feet still moving with great speed. And I think he was like 46, 47 years old at the time he did this, so still pretty impressive. Now, as far as what I think of this movie, I enjoyed very much. I admit, I really don't think very highly of the plot or the leading lady, but I think it is worth it just for Bing and Fred alone, especially with the song A Couple of Song and Dance Men. More on that in a note on the 2 of them together. So if you get a chance to see this movie, please do. Now, the movie is available on DVD from Universal, either as a single release, a double feature, or as part of the Bing Crosby Silver Screen collection. And the movie is about 1 hour and 43 minutes in length. Thanks for listening, everybody. Keep tuning in.